Welcome back, guys. In this video we will have a lot of fun because we will finally prepare our trainer for the SpacePeng application. I mean, we have already done the hard work, which is figuring out these methods and preparing these Frida hooks. So the only thing we are doing right now is putting them all together in a single script and providing some fancy ASCII art. Okay, so it might be not that fancy, at least for me, but I guess you do a better job on this one over here. Alright. After finishing this one, I will also provide you a final script. So what I would like to show you over here is how we can create a trainer in Frida. So afterwards, I really encourage you to try this on your own and play around with this application even further. So maybe there are some additional, interesting functions that we haven't discovered right now. And it would be absolutely beautiful if you would send me some screenshots or short videos of your final version so that we can see the progress we have done together in this course over here. Alrighty? Okay, therefore let's start. Let's switch to the Ubuntu VM and let's figure out how we can write our own trainer. Let's go. Okay, so here we are back at the Ubuntu VM and now let's have a look into the directory where all our Frida scripts are being stored. So for me it is within apps, SpacePeng_JDX and then Frida. Here we have now all our Frida scripts and I have already prepared some kind of blueprint, this trainer.js. I mean, it includes only one thing, but this is the most important part in a trainer. It's the ASCII art, of course. I mean, the trainer, it has to look fabulous nice. Otherwise, you can throw this away. It has to have some fancy ASCII artwork. And I tried my best and let's see what the output of this one is. So let's open this with Visual Studio Code. Alright, here we have it. I mean, in the final version, I give it another try. I try to make this a little bit more better right now, but for this video, I guess it's okay. So we have our fancy spaceship over here. We've got all these space things. And we've got our text. And trainer for the SpacePeng app, Udemy, absolute laser, and it's even more lead. Alright. So this is our entry point of this, of our trainer. So the only thing we need to do right now is copy pasting all these Frida scripts into this one to have it in a single one and then linking these functions over here. So I guess the best idea is when we simply do it right now. Alrighty, so the only thing we need to do right now is copy pasting all our functions into this single script over here. And then we need to reference them over here, that the user knows what he or she has to enter to call this function. Maybe let's do an example over here. First, let's print out this ASCII function, this one over here, because this one is just the function definition and here it's now being finally called. So when we start Frida with this script over here, this nice ASCII art, I hope it is nice, will be printed out in our terminal. Maybe let's do this one over here first and then we do it step by step. So we are using the virtual machine because on the smartphone, unfortunately, some libraries do cause some trouble in Frida. And therefore we are using the virtual machine for now. Okay, we are connected and let's start the Frida server. Data local temp Frida server. Okay, and this one is now running in the background. And let's get the screen. Here we have it and we put this on the right and this one on the left. Okay, let's open our SpacePeng app. And let's see, maybe we have to flash this application because we are already level 11 and I guess our high score is pretty unbeatable right now. So we close this one over here. And then we go into settings. And then apps. SpacePeng. Storage. And we hit the clear storage button. And then we can see this data here will be deleted and now we've got a fresh version. Let's start it once again. Alright, and here we have it. Now we can see level 5 score and high score. And let's create some space and then I can keep talking while we are not getting hit. Alrighty. So now let's start Frida with this script on the left. I mean, it's doing nothing than just printing out this amazing ASCII art. But nevertheless, let's do this. And so Frida-u, then the package name. Meanwhile, I know this, I guess. I guess it's this one. Okay. if you get this error, I'm not sure what's happening right now with Frida. So sometimes this package name cannot be found, but it's exactly this package name. What we can do instead using the package name is using the process ID. So we are using ADB shell, and then let's put this a little bit larger. Then we are using ps-a to print out all these processes, and then we are grabbing for the space pane. Here we have it, 5455. And now we are using Frida with this process ID, and this should work. So Frida-u, then the process ID, and then we need to call our script, which is in apps, spacebank JDX, and Frida, and then the trainer. All right. Sorry. Would like to, sorry again. All right. Let's put this on the left. Okay. And let's call the script and see what's happening. Here we have it, but the function is not being called. That's interesting. Let's call this manually. All right, here we have it. This is what we should get when we start the script over here. Maybe I haven't saved it right now. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to copy paste all of our scripts into this one over here, and then we need to reference this one. And I mean, this one over here, it's no rocket science. So we are just copy pasting now all together. Let's open another script. For example, the invisible function, this one. Let's copy this into our trainer. And then we need to provide a new function for this one. And we also make a comment. Make the player invisible. So we are now providing this function, and we name this function invisible. This is what the user has to enter afterwards. All right. After calling this, after we are calling this function, we are printing out the ASCII once again, because then we can keep track of certain things. Okay, so now this is the invisible function, and we have to tell the user what she or he has to do. So we copy paste this console log, and then we are using simply, okay, I could have also rewritten this, but never mind. Okay, to make the player invisible, we need to enter invisible, make the player invisible. And now you see what's behind this trainer. I mean, this trainer is simply just a wrapper for all these functions. So we have all these functions in one script, and we are simply calling this function on the Frida command line. This is all. But it's absolutely freaking amazing having this all in one file. Let's see. We save this file. Okay. Now we get back to our Frida terminal, and we can see now we have this updated version. Invisible, make the player invisible. All right. So let's keep this a little bit in foreground. Okay. So now we have this in foreground, and let's see. If you want to make the player invisible, all we need to do is simply type in invisible. Let's see. There we go. The player is now invisible. All right. The nice thing about the script is we can also take track of all these functions. For example, let's see. Let me close this real quick. Okay. I mean, we do not need to have this debug output right now. So for example, we can create a new variable. Maybe let's do this over here. So for example, over here, maybe let's create a new variable, player invisible. And the start flag is set to false. All right. And now if the player is being set to invisible, we can set this to true. And now we can say, for example, this one over here, the player is, and then we can provide this variable, player invisible. All right, I guess we have to put this on top of it, otherwise it might not be, the state might not be clear. Okay, and then we can also play around even further. For example, let's see, we've got also a function set player visible. And now let's see, so what we can do is, we can do the following. I clear this one here real quick. Okay, if the player is invisible, then we can call the instance method setPlayerVisible. Otherwise, we call this one over here. Okay, let's comment this real quick. If the player is invisible, make the player visible again. And here, we'll set the player invisible. And to keep track of the state, I guess the easiest way is simply just inverting this one over here. So we can invert it, I guess, in this way. Yes. Alrighty? Okay, maybe we should talk about this once again. So if the player is at the beginning not invisible, so the player is visible. And therefore, if we are calling this function invisible, then the player will be set. This one is false, so the player will be set invisible. And this one, this will change the state from false to true on the first time. If you're typing in this function once again, then the player is invisible, which means we go into this function, which sets the player visible once again. And this one, this will change from true to false, which means the player is now invisible. Alrighty? Maybe let's have a quick look into how it works over here, and then we will talk about all the other functions. So I just want to provide you some approaches on what you can do in this trainer over here. I mean, it's just basic JavaScript code, but nevertheless, I would like to give you some opinions, options about this one. Okay, so we save this file, and now let's get screen copy once again. So here we have our application. We need to attach to this one. Therefore, we need to get the process ID. All right, here we have it. I start this application and we create some space first. Alrighty, let's put this on the right, this one on the left, and now Frida-U in this process ID, and then our trainer. Let's see, maybe I've got it in the history. There we have it, okay. So let's do it this way. All right, now the ASCII art should be printed out, this one over here, and also the state of the player, if it is invisible or visible. And for a moment I thought the player is invisible, but no, it's still here. Okay, so let's do this. And we hit enter. Here we have our fancy ASCII art, and we can see the player is false. So I did forget some text here. Maybe let's do it. Is the player invisible? Okay, we save it. Now, is the player invisible? No, it's set to false. All right, if we now type in invisible, and then we can see the player is being invisible, and we can see the player is now being invisible set to true. So this is why I would like to keep this ASCII art over here. Sorry, not this ASCII art, this function over here also printed out after we have called this function. So we can keep track of certain events, how the lives are being changed, the high score, things like this. Because if we are playing too much about this, we do not know if certain flags are set or not. Alrighty? Perfect. If we call it now once again, invisible, we can see the player is back again, and we can see, is the player invisible? False. No, that's not the case anymore. Alright, to not borrow you right now, I will fast forward this in copy pasting all the other functions into this one, and then we will make some little adjustment on, to make the trainer even look more nice. Alrighty, let's do this. So I close this one over here, and now we copy all these other functions in this file, and let's go. Okay, so here we are back. I have copy pasted all these functions and I have made some little adjustment. For example, I have disabled all these debug outputs because this will flush our trainer with a lot of unnecessary stuff. And within the rapid fire, or for example, this one over here within the high score, we have to provide a new high score in this function and we are passing it directly to this one over here. So yeah, then we can call this function with a new high score and we can use this high score over here. This will set a new high score. But within the rapid fire function, I guess that's really not the best approach. If we are using this within a trainer and having a while loop, like we have done this before, then this will block the thread and the trainer might be unusable afterwards. And therefore, I'm just using it for a short amount of time. And yeah, maybe we will figure out how we can do this better over here. So how we can have rapid fire, but without blocking a lot of time in our trainer over here. I will do this in the final example, but feel free to also look for additional functions that achieve this one over here. Alrighty? Perfect. So now we save this one and let's see. I haven't tested it yet, so it might be full of errors. Let's see. We hit the save button. Okay, on the output, I mean, we have to do a better job. This looks absolutely messy beside our ASCII art, but it seems like all these functions are now in there. So let's see. Let's get back our screen copy. And let's play around a little bit with this one. So we keep this in foreground and let's see, what do we have? We have add player, for example. Yes, this works, perfect. We have coins. Also working, perfect. High score. And here we have to provide a new value. Let's set it to 1000. And this seems to not work right now. Or am I missing something? Okay, we have to check what's wrong with the high score. And let's see, invincible. It's a function, yes. Let's see, do we have them? Okay, interesting. We are only fetching, and let's see. Yes, and so the first object over here, this has no collision detection anymore, but the second object. Alright, this is a little bit wired right now. What happens if we call this multiple times? Do all objects being set? Let's see. No. Okay. So adding a player in this function, this will collide right now. We have to know this or we have to do a better job on this one. Last but not least, let's test this rapid fire. Let's see. It's not a function, so what we have named it. Yeah, okay. Now I have found this error. Sorry for this, I have used the sloppy version. So we've got our on match, but we are missing the on complete callback. Sorry for this one. Alright, I guess this should work right now. Let's save this. Okay. And now let's call it. Yeah, but the for loop, this one over here is, I guess, way too less. Maybe let's increase this to then 10,000. This will block a lot of our trainer. So yes, we can see it's working and now it's good. It blocks a lot of our trainer, so we cannot use other functions while we are doing this. So therefore, I guess we should find a better way. All right. The thing we are missing right now is the high score. So let's see what's going wrong in there. High score value. This variable is not being used anywhere. Okay, so I guess instead of calling this function setIfNewHighScore, high score, let's simply use our first approach. This one. This is the most this is the most reliable version. All right, so java.perform, and let's use this one. Alrighty. And now we're using this high score value over here. Yes, so this should work right now. Okay, so we could also use the high score over here in our trainer right now. So maybe let's close this one over here. That's a little bit disturbing. All right. So for example, we can create a new variable which keeps track of the current high score. Maybe let's do this real quick. So we are creating here a new variable. user high score is equals 0. Yes, so we have to call it once because at the beginning it's 0, but after we have called a new high score, then we can also keep track in our application. I mean, we can also use an additional function. For example, we can do it in the following way. Maybe let's do it over here. So we copy paste this function and then we get rid of this one. Yes. Okay. We can use and get a high score. All right, within our get high score, we are fetching the current high score. We are not setting a new one. So this one is not required. Alrighty. Yes, and we also disable this one over here. Okay, so let's clean these gaps a little bit. Perfect. So now at the beginning we can call this function get high score over here, for example, or maybe even further. For example, over here, and get the current high score. Okay, this will assign this user high score value and then sets a new high score. And then we can say, for example, current is something like this. All right. So here we are setting a new one, but we can also keep track of the current high score. Okay, I mean, this now looks absolutely messy, but it's just, it's just what is possible in our trainer and how to achieve certain things. Alrighty. Perfect. Okay, and let's save this one and let's see if it's working. Yeah, here we can see sets a new high score. Current is 625. Let's open up screen copy. And perfect, it's working over here. Now let's see if we can also set a new one. High score. It's over 9,000. Yes, perfect. Now it's working exactly like we would like to have it. And we can also see, oh, we are not calling, I have forgotten something in all these functions. We are not calling this print ASCII once again. So this is something we need to add at the end to all functions. Yes, I mean, we could also use the onComplete method, but at the end it's also perfectly fine. All right, now we can see the current high score is this one. Perfect. Okay, so this is all for this video right now. We have seen how we can create a little trainer. I mean, regarding to the output over here, this can be improved a little bit. Yeah, so we can keep track of certain states, and we can also apply or fetch values from the existing game, and we can have a lot of fun in manipulating the other functions. Alrighty, as already mentioned, if you play around with this one and create a trainer, feel free to write me a message with your result. This would be absolutely amazing to me to see your result on this one, and I'm pretty sure I would be highly impressed what you have created over here. This is all for this video right now. This is just the high level approach. As already mentioned, you can find a more detailed version in the attachment of this section over here. I had a lot of fun and I hope you too. Feel free to play around with this one. In case of any questions, write me a message. I'm super happy to help you out on improving your own trainer over here. Alrighty? Perfect. Okay, so this is all for now, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to see you in the next video. See you there.